This conversation of value has a lot to do with personal authority. And I always like to talk about
Mm,
the root word authorship. Who's writing the story around what matters here when it comes to how we assess and interpret value? For the first thing that any boy must do in his pursuit of becoming a man is set himself out into the world and truly discover what it is that he values.
mm,
And I think the way to experience that is by being out in the world, by witnessing the values that other people have, watching people live a life where they're prioritizing money and finances and investments, and watching other people prioritize relationships, and seeing what happens for other people who choose to live their lives that way, and ultimately coming away from it like a big research experiment, and then integrating that data into, well, what do I value? What is the way I want to design my life based on the things that I give priority and importance to? So what is your perspective, first of all, on that? Just, I guess, a personal code of value, maybe, because I know we want to talk about self-value, but I think it's important first to acknowledge and address the things that we externalize, the value we have outside of ourselves, and what level of importance we put on those things.
man, I feel like this is we could go so deep with this. We could go so far with it because value, I think being able to explore value is a key to a lot of things, and particularly one's wealth in life. And you could talk about wealth in different ways, of course. I mean, we could talk about financial wealth, we could talk about wealth in relationships, health in our wealth. But I do this kind of with some of my clients all the time, of like just asking them, like, what is wealth? What is money? What is value? What do you value? And if you think about it, think about the to kind of go maybe along the lines of what you're saying. When you look at what people pay for, right? What are the things people are paying for in the world? Because money I feel like is a representation of value, meaning, obviously we pay certain amounts of money for different things based upon what we value, right? It's like one person, I might not pay $1,000 for something that you say, wow, this is a bargain, right? This is like something I totally want, I totally need. And that could be a service, it could be an item, it could be, something that you want, like a car, or a thing that makes your life easier, like a device or something. It could be coaching, right? It could be any number of things. But I think being willing to assess value is so important. And that can be both from this more external monetary standpoint, or looking at what other people are valuing, and then of course taking that back to what do I value, whether that's this list of values like integrity and strength and happiness or whatever, those sort of things, or just looking at honestly, like, what have I spent my money on, what have I spent my time on, because those are going to show you what we value. And sometimes we're not conscious of, like, I'm like, wow, I just spent an hour or more binge watching this show. It's like, okay, well, I must value something about this. otherwise I wouldn't have done it. Do I want to be conscious of that, and I want to like shift that up, or is there something that I'm getting from this enough that it's going to make my life more useful in some way?
Yeah, and this is really important, I think.